Okay, folks, sort of going to set this week's episode up just a little bit with a quick story. And so we went to Maine's Sabattis Pond, and we did manage to catch a couple, which you'll see in a few minutes. These were not big fish by any stretch of the imagination, but they were northern pike. And around here, there aren't really too many northern pike spots to go. This is the northern pike that I caught many years ago. This is sort of what we were looking for. I caught this fish in Alaska. And this is not a big one by any stretch of the imagination. The world record was caught in North America in a lake called Great Sacandaigna Lake, and that's in New York. I don't know if that record has since been surpassed, but you get the idea, folks. And, you know, don't let anybody tell you that big fish don't eat little fish, because there's the proof right there. Look at those teeth. And so this being about a 13-pound fish, this could eat a 1-pound fish with absolutely no problem. With that being said, let's get to the action out on the lake. Again, we're in Sabattis, Maine, and I hope you enjoy the cut. So this is the first inaugural infield edition of the Tijuana Trout Fishing Show. We are at world famous Sabattis Pond. This is where all of the illegal northern pike in Maine started. So as of right now, you can see my three compadres over there, Bill, Paul, and Frank, as we test the ice. You don't want to come out here too early in the morning, because you could die.
6 inches, 7 inches?
So we got 7 inches here in this cove. Our goal is to make it out to that little ice patch. It's supposedly a boulder field and 13 foot of water out there. So, with that being said, our day started out Saturday really early. A couple of my co-anglers had to come up from Massachusetts. And from Derry to the bait store, which was about 2 hours. I believe the name of that store is Dags. I don't know if I can say that, but I just did. If you want to go to a bait store, this guy has a bait store. He's open on time. My biggest pet peeve is when a bait store does not open on time. He has a great selection. He had every type of bait you could have imagined. And the gentleman was very free with his knowledge about Sabattis Lake. Sabattis, it was a little bit difficult for us. It was just the conditions, folks. When you're out on a lake where supposedly people die, you have to take it, one step at a time. So we decided that we were going to stay close to the boat ramp. We felt we were in adequate depth. My theories is 8 to 12 feet. We did find a couple of little holes where it was maybe 14, 15 feet coming up to a shallow boulder field. And I was basically in about 8 to 10 feet. And my other buddies were in the same 8 to 10 foot zone. We were sort of limited, but the fish don't know it's the boat ramp. So, and believe it or not, folks, boat ramps can be very, very, very productive in the summer, the winter. Just think about it. It's a structure that's on a shoreline that might not have any structure. I don't know. Again, I'm not a biologist, but I know if you're much more bound to catch some fish around rocks and boulders than out in the middle of a featureless flat. Here we are, back to the action. Listening to some Rolling Stones. Here we go. Here's our lunch today. We have some backstrap, steak tips, chicken wings, and all the fixins. As you can hear the wind howling. One thing about ice fishing, it is a long wait. Some days, so you have to figure out ways to enjoy yourself. Now, again, am I saying that there's no fish on these featureless flats? Absolutely not. But most fish are structure orientated. So that's where we decided that we were going to set up. Basically, this was a safety issue. Didn't feel like falling through the ice in Maine. Okay, so we only caught 2. Everybody in the industry, we call them hammer handles. They were small, but if we had to eat, we would have had some food. So we have some action here. My friend Paulie has got the leader to the hole. And let's see what's going to happen here. And I do believe we have a fish to the hole here. Oh, yeah. And we do have a northern pike in the center. basically fall down the hole. In Maine, they encourage you to harvest those fish. I don't know why. Nobody would like to have giant northern pike in their lake. I would think that it would help the tourism. I know it's one of the reasons why I go to Maine, smallmouth fishing in it, which I also believe was a fish that was introduced illegally into Maine. I'm not 100% sure about that last fact, but I'm pretty sure. Walleyes were also introduced into Maine illegally. Yeah, they get pretty large there. Long Pond, fearful that was going to start a walleye population there. Me, I don't know what would be wrong with that because I think people would come to catch them. But I do understand the value of a level, what would the word be? A level ecological situation, you know. You don't want to crowd out the native fish with species that are introduced illegally. But then again, if it happens and there's an established population, you should make some money off it anyways. So that's my take on that. You know, Sabattis is, again, I'm going to go back there. There's going to be more footage. I don't know if it's going to be ice footage, but probably the next time that we go to Maine, it's going to be a smallmouth trip at a place called Lake Mesalansky. Now, folks, do yourself a favor. If you're a fisherman, please visit Lake Mesalansky. It is worth the milfoil sticker price. You will not be disappointed, I guarantee it. In closing, friends, keep your eye out for the next video, blah, blah, blah. All right, yeah. I hope you tune in for our next exciting episode, which will also be from Northwood Lake. Try to go to a different area where we've had lots of success. I don't want to say right now where that area is going to be, but we've had many big fish caught here, largemouth bass in particular, and I believe that's what we'll be fishing for in our next episode. Just remember this, fishing makes people happy, and happy people live longer. Thank you for watching.